I think that this whole Rittenhouse trial is going to go in favor of him. That's just my gut feeling. And that's only because I was able to kind of look at little snippets of where the judge was going with this thing. Have you been able to check out a little bit of that or get the temperature of the room in that crime when the young guy went out and just started shooting? I mean, he killed other white people, but, do you think he'll get off of that?
I'm not sure. I got to tune into that case a little more. I've been kind of checking the temperature on the Ahmaud Arbery murder case there.
Yeah.
The attorneys in that case it looks as if they're trying to somehow make it look as if, they were within their right to stop him from jogging because they suspected him of having committed a felony. And if they can somehow justify their stopping him, then the false imprisonment is no longer an issue, and then the case becomes whether or not Brother Ahmaud, rest in peace, did anything that they could interpret as being, if he did anything that they could interpret as meaning that their life would be in jeopardy, which would have justified him being murdered. I can't possibly think of how 3 armed men and a young black male in shorts and sneakers, what can he possibly do to make you fear for your life so much that you would have to take his life? I don't really see how they can prove that, but this is America. They do lie and they do create narratives in order to justify what they do to us. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this case proceeds, and I'm still interested in knowing whether or not he's going to be charged. If a federal hate crime is one of the potential charges under which he can be convicted. That's important because I think that may carry the highest sentence. So if they can escape the federal hate crimes charge and they just have to deal with, second degree murder or first degree murder, it may not hit as hard. So I'm looking to see what the charges ultimately are going to be.
Well, it's going to be interesting because I think on October the 7th, the judge denied the request to use his mental records. Now, you got to be reaching when the lawyer is asking for old mental records on Arbery. I mean, this has got to be...
Yeah, they want to paint him as a black criminal, and they want to somehow make it look as if they were justified in using deadly force against a young man whose only weapons were jogging shorts and jogging shoes. So, but
that was the thing is, that whole situation put me on notice because I'm a person that likes to go look in model homes, and sometimes they're not finished being built. I don't know if you've ever done that. You just kind of in the area, and he got a drink of water in one of those places, and when they had him on camera doing that, yes, I have as well. It's not done. Let me see. Let me think about it. And just to think that you have to you put your life in danger in something like that. And the other thing is that they rode around and they passed that video around showing how they killed that gentleman. They actually passed it around.
The judge is not allowing the police surveillance footage that includes the conversation that the police officer had with one of the killers on the site of where the murder took place. So the judge is allowing the jury to hear the transcript, but the judge is denying the jury the opportunity to evaluate the contextual information. So, for example, Sister Ann, if you listen to a conversation I have arguing with your coworker and you hear the raw conversation, you can hear the tone, the pitch, the energy, the attitude. You can really evaluate for the full context in which the argument took place versus if I just give you a transcript of their interaction between me and your coworker, you lose a lot of the human variable that is involved whenever two people have the conversation. And so the judge is denying the jury the opportunity to really get a good feeling for what happened when that police officer spoke with that killer right after the murder, and he's only giving him the transcript. And I believe that's playing into the hands of the defense.
Wow. What is that? Have they stacked that jury a little bit differently, or is it still...
It's still all... Is it all white? And all white with one black person. One black and 11 white in a county that is 25% black. So if the county is 25% black, you should at least have 3 black jurors, minimal, for it to be representative of a quote-unquote jury of your peers. Only 1 black, and I don't understand how the prosecution allow that to take place, which also has me thinking that the prosecution might be in bed with the defense, which is something we're used to being black in America.
Oh, yeah, you kind of know it. You know, there's a article out about saying that they had him, Arbery, actually trapped like a rat before they killed him. I mean, he really didn't have any, you know, he was just, he was just cooked. I mean, by the time they saw him with what they had on him, he was just, you know, the only brave thing we could say about him is he went down fighting. That's it. He went out.
That's so true, Sister Ann. And one of the things we got to look for is black people, because once again, just like with the George Zimmerman case, you had a civilian take a life and walk scot-free when he initiated the conflict. Once again, you had 3 white men initiating the conflict with Ahmaud. And so it's going to be interesting to see if this country allows them to walk totally, as Zimmerman did, or get off with a smack on the back of the hand, which means not give them much of a sentence. Because if that happens, that will be the second time a nationally televised black assassination trial where the murderer was a white civilian ended with almost no punishment for the murderer. And if they walk, or if they only get a life sentence, then that is a clear message to white people that the government will protect you if you kill unarmed, defenseless black folks.
Wow. And I think, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if those guys got off with, like, just aggravated assault. I mean, it would be a travesty, but just the fact that, I mean, look at Zimmerman is still walking around living his best life right now.
I could absolutely see it. And I know Al Sharpton is at one of those cases. I don't know if he's attending the Ahmaud Arbery trial or the trial for the other young man, but I do know one of the lawyers tried to get the judge to force Reverend Sharpton out of the courtroom. They felt that his presence was interfering with the trial, and I forget which case it is, but that made headlines today. And I'm not a big Al fan, but you know, the fact that he is a whistleblower and an ambulance chaser, sometimes it does benefit us. I mean, he doesn't have a plan to change anything for black people aside from complaining to white folks. But at the same time, you know, there is a place for him. And when it comes to high-profile cases like this that need to be scrutinized by the larger public, I think Al Sharpton is right at home with the work that he does. And I do commend him when he does bring proper attention to these types of situations.
How about the other lawyer? Is he involved in this at all? I got to look it up to find out. Crump. I think Benjamin Crump.
He basically gets the death settlements for parents. He's more of the cash lawyer. You know, his job is to make sure you get paid when they kill. He doesn't really do much when it comes to justice. And I hope that's something that Attorney Benjamin Crump, who I met at a Urban League conference, actually the day before I got my doctorate back in 2012, and we had lunch together, and I saw him again at the Breonna Taylor Memorial in Louisville.